Hello everyone and welcome to another Black Ops 3 video. So this last weekend was the Call of Duty World League Pro Division qualifiers. It was a 3-day event and it is the first taste of the Call of Duty World League that we have been given up to this point, and I have been really looking forward to getting to watch it. So I thought I'd get on here and give a few observations and notes that I feel are relevant and interesting for the future of the World League. So here we go. So again, this was the Pro Division qualifier, and we had 32 pro teams all competing for 16 spots in the World League Pro Division. Your winners of those spots come from North America. We've got Apotheon, Complexity, FaZe, Optic, Rise Nation, Team Elevate, Team Envious, and Team Caliber. From Europe, we have Epsilon Esports, Millennium, Splice, and Team Infused. And from Australia/New Zealand, we have Mindfreak, Skyfire, Tainted Minds, and Team Immunity. So those are going to be your 16 pro teams competing for the World Championship this year in the first ever World League. There will also be another division. I believe it's going to be the amateur division, where basically teams of pubs that think that they're good enough to compete with the pros get the opportunity to prove it. And we'll probably see some kind of qualifier for them later, but nothing has been announced to my knowledge as of yet. So first off, just talking about the overall quality of the event, listening to some of the reviews and vlogs that have come out from the participants of the event, it seems like everything was very well done. Everything was very professional. They had a high quality studio, they had a high quality equipment, and they had everybody on a very strict schedule to try and make sure everything stayed organized and went off without a hitch. The thing is, like, that kind of thing carries over. Like, what goes on behind the curtain is a reflection of what goes on in the eyes of the audience. If you take it seriously and you put together a professional environment for people to work in, even that the audience isn't going to see, that will still bleed over into the product that the audience actually gets to see. And it was definitely apparent. I thought that the World League went off really well. There were a few minor details. The scoreboard was messed up every once in a while, so it would say that one team is winning when in fact it was the other team. The score is correct, but the teams were switched. Apparently some of the matches did not quite happen on time. And the thing I really didn't like was they were like 11-hour events. It went like 11 hours a day for 3 days. And I understand why they can't do it for like an entire week, because they have to work with people's schedules, and a lot of people in the pro scene don't do it for an actual living. They have other jobs. But it would be really nice to see them figure out a way to kind of like maybe have certain teams show up for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then other teams show up for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. So we're getting more reasonable watch times. I don't know how many people have 11 hours on a Friday or Saturday to sit and watch Call of Duty. But overall, I thought the event was really well done, really high quality. I even have friends that don't play Call of Duty that have watched a few matches from it with me, and even they were surprised at how good it was. And that gives me a lot of hope for the future of the league. I mean, this is the first event that they've done, and already it appears as though they're taking it very seriously and doing a really good job with it. Number two, and this may not be a surprise to people who are already fans of Call of Duty esports, but it appears as though if you were making odds for this or setting a betting line, it would basically be Optic versus the field. There does not appear to be a team on the level of Optic. You have to win 2 3-game series, and Optic ended up going 6-1. And that one was a search and destroy against a team that is known for being really good in search and destroy. So if you tend to lean towards the more dominant juggernaut type of teams to be a fan of, Optic is one that you're going to want to keep an eye on. And thirdly, the superstar of Call of Duty, like the Michael Jordan, the Tiger Woods, the Tom Brady of Call of Duty, is hands down Optic Scump. I mean, the very first round of the first game of Search and Destroy that they played, Scump ended up in a 1v4 situation against a pro team and won. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. four professional players who are working as a team, who are really good at the game, who have practiced and practiced and practiced against one guy, and he wins. Enough said. The guy's insane. And number three, in case you didn't know, the game modes that they play in the World League are Capture the Flag, Uplink, Hardpoint, and Search and Destroy. And the two most exciting ones to watch, hands down, are Search and Destroy and Hardpoint. They're really, like, those two. We saw so many near comebacks or huge comebacks during the weekend. It was awesome. You're never really out of a game of Hardpoint, and you're never really out of a game of Search and Destroy. Both teams have to play to the very end. Capture the Flag and Uplink, it gets to a point where you have a couple score lead and then you just play defense and the whole game becomes a camp fest. And the worst game mode to watch, the least exciting, the one that frankly I kind of wish they would get rid of because of just how boring it was, is Capture the Flag. Most games only saw 2 or 3 flag caps, and the whole game is just everybody kind of camping the whole time. Everybody just kind of moves from one spot to the next, camping and pre-aiming corners. And when both teams spend the entire time pre-aiming corners, it just gets really boring. Some people, like the aforementioned Scump, managed to rack up a couple of score streaks. I think he actually got 2 Cerberuses in one game, which is impressive. But even that game ended as, I believe it was a 1-0 win for Optics. So that it's just a boring game. Number 4, and this one is actually fairly important. I hope that some people that have a say in these things actually listen to this, or they don't need me to tell them. I'm sure they can figure it out themselves. But Evac is an unbelievably lopsided map for Uplink. It's unbelievable. And just look at this. I went into a private match just to show you guys. And if you know this throw that I'm showing you right now, you can literally pick up the drone and throw it within 5 seconds and score. And even if you want to go for the dunk, you can pick up the drone and dunk it within 10 seconds of picking it up if you're going for this side. And the other side is considerably more difficult. There's a lot more close quarters windiness. There aren't very many good throw spots. And it takes a whole lot more effort to score on that side of the map. Most of the games we saw played on Evac, it was just whoever can score more points when that is their goal wins. And going back to Optic for a second, they actually played a game on Evac where they went into halftime down 0-4 and ended up winning the game 18-4 just because the spawns flipped and they got to go for the other goal. Like, if that doesn't tell you how lopsided the map is, I don't know what will. Number 5 is concerning bans and protects. There was definitely a theme going on with the ban and protect mode. Pretty much every single round you saw 4 weapons involved, either being banned or protected. They almost always did something with the Vesper, the M8A7, the RK5, and the LCAR pistols. Those 4 guns were almost always involved. And then, of course, anytime the Vesper got banned, the VMP was immediately protected. So it's pretty apparent what the pros consider to be the best guns in the game. And it's kind of surprising that 2 of them are secondaries. You saw a lot of secondary action, especially on Search and Destroy. You saw some situations where people use secondaries to outgun primaries. It's no secret that the pistols are really strong in this game. I didn't quite realize how strong until I watched this, and now I've started using pistols a little bit, and yeah, they're really, really strong in the game, so give those a try if you haven't already. But I still stand by my original statement that you don't want to waste bans and protects on weapons when you're playing an arena, and the main reason is because you are not a professional gamer. You're not someone who's going to hit every single shot. So somebody who has that kind of accuracy is going to be significantly better with something like the M8A7 than they will with the XR2. Someone with that kind of accuracy is going to be significantly better with the Vesper than they will with the CUDA. But on the more amateur level, like pubs or arena, you're really not going to see that big of a difference between like the CUDA and the VMP or the ICR and the Man of War, stuff like that. So again, I still stand by my original statement. Don't bother banning or protecting weapons, even though that's pretty much all that the pros did all weekend. It makes perfect sense for them. So thanks for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to catch the World League. All of the matches are on YouTube now, so you can go get caught up and watch them if you want. You know, keep an eye out for the next event. It's definitely worth watching. It's worth your time. If you're enough of a fan of Call of Duty to look up YouTube videos about Call of Duty, then odds are you're going to enjoy watching the pros play. Pick up some secrets on how they play certain maps and how they play certain game modes and what weapons and perks are better than others. So, you know, pretty much any reason that you'd be watching this video is a good reason to watch the World League, and it's a really, really entertaining show. So check it out, and goodbye.